Sage, you're on a roll. I'm gonna start the stream off by saying that Sage is on a hell of a roll right now. He's been showing up on time for at least the last 3 or 4 nights. He's been in within the 2 minute warning is what I like to see. He's in his 2 minute hurry up offense. Every night, and I appreciate the sentiment, Sage. Welcome to the Thundercloud Corpse Files. Here is going to be a very interesting stream. Sage says, I've done my wrench business. I'm able to appear on time. Well, just make sure that you consistently stay on time or you'll be fired and you won't be making a dime from the Thundercloud, okay? So, let's just keep it that way. Let's not get too big of a head either. So, here's what's going to happen. I am not organized for this whatsoever, but you know what? I never am. All these are off the cuff. We don't edit here at the Thundercloud. All we do is live, and we thrive here at the Thundercloud. And we're going to be just fucking fine. In fact, we're going to do better than fine. We're going to be utterly fucking divine like the ice cream. So that's what's going to happen tonight. Even though I'm not prepared, I might not necessarily know what I'm talking about. I'll take care of business. And I'll figure it out because I've got a brain. I've got a big brain. So before we get into any real news, so what we're going to do, we're of course going to coverage the MLB trade deadline because there was a lot, and I mean a lot of movement today. So we will cover the MLB trade deadline. First, what we're going to do, as we always do, we get the NBA out of the way. That's how we start every stream. Because there's typically no news. We'll sift through the NFL news. There's actually only one thing I want to break for NFL news. Then we're going to, of course, go over the Pete Rose Bowl Cut, because why wouldn't we go over the Pete Rose Bowl Cut? And then we're just going to literally go through every trade that was made today, and then we're going to cap it off by going over every trade that was made by the Blue Jays. So we'll close up shop with the Blue Jays because that's where we're going to spend most of our attention. Now, as we go through the trades, I'll give you reactions as to who I think made a good trade or a bad trade. Now, one thing for you fucking marks out there, you fucking newbies, is just because someone got the big name doesn't mean that they made the best trade. So, pretty much everyone today is going to say yes. Everyone that sold did a poor job. That's not necessarily the case. Look at what Washington got a couple years ago when they traded Juan Soto. They got the guy on my team with the big bat. They got Mackenzie Gore. They got C.J. Abrams. They won that trade hands down. So at the time, though, everyone would have said Juan Soto won. Yes, Dan, I agree with your sentiment there that the Jays get quite a bit today. Didn't have to overly spend. We will actually dig into the prospects a little bit that we did have to give away. But before we do that, let's get the NBA out of the way. Let's not get distracted. Let's remain focused because that's what we do here at the Thundercloud. So NBA news, guess what happened today? In the world of the NBA, guess what happened today? Mikal Bridges signed a 4-year extension worth $150 million with the New York Knickerbockers. The Pelicans signed Bryce McGowens to a 2-way contract, telling me he's not a good player because it's a 2-way contract. And guess what? That's it, because we already covered Jonathan Kuminga last night. So Kuminga and the Golden State Warriors still at a standstill there. Now, the other thing I do want to go over, so the only thing I really want to go over in terms of the NFL is that Marshawn Lloyd, his injury is not too bad. He will be returning to practice shortly. It was a groin injury. He's not going to be gone very long. The other thing we got for the Packers, Dontavian Wicks he's working back. He's got a calf injury. I don't think it's overly severe, so he was just kind of on the sidelines, basically riding a bicycle today at practice. So I think he'll be all right. But I'd definitely be cautious with it because I do expect him to have a bounce back season. And this is kind of what we need to go over. So today, there was one thing I wanted to do, actually. Today was the NFL Hall of Fame game because there were 4 new people that were added to the Hall of Fame. I'll go over the names shortly. I actually wanted to make a bet on the Hall of Fame game. Now, it's kind of a crapshoot, but I really thought the Chargers would win against Detroit, and they won 34-7. So I didn't get the chance to let Dan know that I really wanted to make this bet. That's a my bad. That is a my bad. Before we get to the people that were elected into the Hall of Fame, Terry McLaurin has requested a trade, so obviously contract negotiations are not going good. I do not understand what Washington is thinking here. Definitely dumb. Just pay the guy. Honestly, if you're gonna just pay him. Honestly, just get it out of the way. So just give me a quick minute here. Just gonna open up 3 little things here real quick. So we'll save the best for last as well. So 4 people were added to the Hall of Fame this year. A few of them you'll be familiar with, and probably a few of them you won't be. So one that you might not necessarily be familiar with would be Eric Allen. He was a cornerback. I believe his main team was the Oakland Raiders. Had 54 interceptions in his career. That's all we really need to know. He had 120 passes defended. I mean, he had some tackles in his career. I'm sure he's great. Let's move on to the next player. Jared Allen, who was terrible against the run, he's inducted into the Hall of Fame. I remember him mostly with the Vikings. He did play with a few other teams as well. In his career, he had 136 sacks and 31 forced fumbles. Antonio Gates, one of the best, if not the best, tight end ever, was elected of the San Diego Chargers. In his career, he had 1,200 receiving yards, 116 touchdowns, could block like a son of a bitch. And you know what? He's better than Travis Kelce. I'll say it right now. He's better than Travis Kelce. He played in a different era. In his era, it was a lot harder to do things. Same with Tony Gonzalez. I'll take Antonio Gates or Tony Gonzalez any day over Travis Kelce. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Gates is one of the only Hall of Famers who never played college, correct? I don't know. It says he went to Kent State. He went to college. And maybe he didn't play at a top college or something. But pretty sure they all played college. You don't see no motherfucking high schoolers coming into the NFL. He was, you mean played football. Yes, he was. I know he was a basketball player, but I cannot confirm that. He might have been. He might have been like in college, like a power forward or something like that. He's a big guy, at least a small forward. I can't confirm that. He only had 8 fumbles in his career. That sounds completely astounding when you've had 955 receptions in your fucking career, and you've only had 8 fumbles. That sounds really good, actually. You know what? That's not my job to do. That's why I don't give myself a wrench. That's for you to do. You know, I'm not on the phone right now. Well, technically, I am the voice of the cloud. That is true. But I'm not going to do research when I'm already doing research. If you want to fact check yourself, then you fact check yourself, okay? Antonio Gates better than Travis Kelce. That's all I'm saying. Travis Kelce is an extremely good player, and he's an extremely overrated player. He plays in pussy fucking league NFL. They're just a bunch of fucking sticks in the mud this day and age. You can't even fucking what did Troy Aikman say? I probably can't even say what Troy Aikman said. Get in trouble if I said that. But that's how they're kind of playing. Like, this day and age, it's easy. It's so soft, this league. Man, oh man, like, to pass in this day and age as a quarterback, too, none of these quarterback records are going to mean jack shit. Then you got a guy like Dan Marino in the 80s firing off 5,000 fucking yards. That's a record. What Drew Brees has done is fucking bullshit. That's all I gotta fucking say about that. Anyways, You get my point. Antonio Gates is fucking way better than fucking Travis Kelce, and that's all there is fucking to it. Now, saving the best for the last, we do have a Green Bay Packer that made the Hall of Fame. Does anyone know which player that is that made the Hall of Fame? I'll give you a hint. He's the better brother of someone that works at ESPN or worked at ESPN, who everyone knows. It's not Jordan Love. Thanks for the smart alecky remark. I swear to God, you're one strike away from you losing your fucking wrench there, Nameless. One fucking strike away. Fucking try me. Fucking try me. Sterling Sharp is finally in the Hall of Fame. I do not know why they waited so long. And he is a lot better than Shannon Sharp, who has been there for a while. And I think Shannon Sharp himself would even admit that his brother is far better than him. This is a wide... Now, here's a guy, to quote Chris Collinsworth, now here's a guy that's really fucking good. His career was cut fucking years short because of a neck injury. He is a 3-time All-Pro 1, which is pretty fucking good. He is a 5-time Pro Bowler. He did this in 7 seasons. So in 7 seasons, this guy played 16 games per year. You can't say he was injury prone because he wasn't. Was not injury prone whatsoever. He led the league in receptions 3 times. Led the league in receiving yards once at 1461. He is up there with like Jerry Rice and playing with those guys. He led the league in touchdowns twice. 1994 at 18, 1992 at 13. For his career, you're looking at 8,134 yards, 65 tuts. And you're looking at a fucking guy who should have been in the Hall of Fame fucking 20 years ago at least. Maybe even 25. I mean, you're just looking at greatness every fucking year. So I do not understand why he was not there. Another guy who's far better than Travis Kelce, let's not kid ourselves here, could have been potentially one of the best wide receivers of all time. But, you know, injuries fucking happen. It seems very bad for the Green Bay Packers. We've had a lot of career-ending neck injuries. Nick Collins, who I believe was on his way to a Hall of Fame career. Jermichael Finley, who I don't think would have been a Hall of Famer, tight end, but he was definitely on his way to being a multiple-time Pro Bowler. And Jonathan Franklin, who I don't think he was going to be great. He did have a great game against the Bengals, broke his neck as well. And I think he would have been a solid little player his career. So it's just a shame you see what happens to some of these Packers. We got really bad fucking neck trainers there. Probably not eating enough donair meat if you ask me. So that is the NFL Hall of Fame. And yeah, let me see what's being said here. Nameless says, I don't know the Packers make. Well, they're made of cheese. Other than Favre and Rodgers, he doesn't know anyone past that, so he's a fraud. And Sage does say that Shannon has admitted multiple times that Sterling was better than him. Much better than him. And it's good he gets his due, but it's like, man, this motherfucker had to wait till he was 60 years old to get in the fucking Hall of Fame. He last played when he was fucking 29 years old. Kind of hard to believe that that's fucking 1994 is that fucking long ago, but motherfucker, it is that damn long ago. I'm glad he got in. That's good, honestly. Now, we need to go to the Pete Rose Bowl cut. And we need to go over what's going on in the league. Sage, please, I'm sorry. I apologize, Sage. I know that you are very sensitive about this topic right now, but I do need to go over this, okay? Team Rodfather is currently up 7-6 against Alejandro's astounding team. Vlad the Impalers is derailing Tommy Callahan's Auto Parts 1 part at a time, 9-6. Bases loaded, IBB is losing 10-5, which is, I think, is better than 11-4. And that's awesome. Team is out with a vengeance against Graham's great team. That's a sibling rivalry right there. She's up 11-3. I was tipped off before the stream that Jonathan Arenado has an injury that will sideline him for the rest of the fantasy year. And I was told at that time that multiple moves would be made. And in exchange, Cole Reagans has been added, a starting pitcher for the Kansas City Royals. And I believe more moves will come. So I will keep my ESPN open just for that lone reason. And then we're going to turn our attention to every move that was made today. And, I'm not looking forward to it. Because there was fucking... Sage, I want to ask you a question. And I want to ask you a question. Is the MLB trade deadline better than all the other sports? If you're looking at activity, maybe your team wasn't active, but in terms of activity overall, there's a lot more than the NFL, the NBA, and the NHL, right? It is crazy, man. I was fucking like, at work, occasionally, after I'd get a couple meetings in, I'd take a look down. I was like, holy fuck, that many more moves are made? And I was just dreading doing this stream. I actually didn't. I did not leave out the score. I did not leave out the score at all. I said that it was 10-5, which is better than 11-4, which it was yesterday. So I did not leave out the score between you and the Dark Sliders, and Bases Loaded IBB. Now I just need to make sure that my rosters are set for tomorrow. Everyone else, I would encourage you to do the same, so that we can have competitive balance in this league, which is what I strive for. And then I'm going to conquer all of you. Alright, so that's it. That's it. We now need to draw our attention to all the moves that were made. So, like I said, how we're going to do this, we're going to save all the Blue Jays moves until the last. Save the best for last, right? And we'll go through each move that's a non-Blue Jay move first. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go through the Blue Jays moves, and we're just going to talk shop. We're just going to talk shop. So I do need to find my article. Thank God. I'm getting rid of all these other articles because I can't be... This one's simple. This one's legit. Who the player was and who came back. So I believe today is what, July 31st? Technically it's the 1st, but all right. So July 31st we have a slew of moves, and I just need to hydrate. And I don't know if these are in order, because I think they're trying to talk, so I'm just getting the top trades, basically. So if we go down the list, I don't want to do it this way, but I'm just saying MLB.com is where I'm citing this, because they've got top trades. Then at the bottom, they've got, like, other notable deals. So we're just going to go from the bottom, which is other notable deals, work our way to the top, then work our way through the Jays. So the first trade that we have is the Orioles acquiring a left-handed pitcher named Diedrich Enns for cash considerations. They don't even say where it's coming from. That's how minuscule of a trade it is. Then we've got a Blue Jays one, which I'm not going to go over. We've got the Reds acquiring Miguel Andujar, former Yankee from the Oakland Athletics, in exchange for right-handed pitcher Kenya Huggins. Nice last name there. We've got the Angels acquiring Oswald Peraza from the New York Chokies for outfielder Wilberson DePena and international bonus pool money. Oh. So the Yankees are giving some of their bonus pool money away. No. No. The Yankees are gaining some pool money. Okay, sorry, I read that wrong. The Royals got Bailey Falter from the Pirates for left-handed pitcher Evan Sisk and Kalon Moss. I wish they'd say the other team, but I guess the other team isn't worthy. The Tigers got Cody Hoarder from... Or no, they did. The Pirates, sorry. Cody Hoarder from the Rangers for cash consideration. So these are not big moves right now. The Dodgers got an outfielder named Alex Call from the Nationals in exchange for Eric Swan and Sean Paul Lennon. Okay. So the Dodgers get Alex Call. Let me take a look at the comments real quick here. I didn't say his team name. Say my name, Heisenberg. Say my name. Alright, fuck you guys. Next move. So the Rangers were pretty busy. They were busy bees today. We'll see how that works for their farm system again. Everyone's going to be like, oh, we won today, we won today, we won today. Okay. Short term, sure. Look at some of the fucking moves that blow up in your face. Like, I think Tampa Bay used to have Joe Ryan. Traded his sorry ass away, but they've made, some good trades as well down the line. Rangers acquired Phil Maton from the Cardinals for Mason Molina and Skylar Hales. A little bit of cash was thrown in as well. I believe that's one of Zau's relievers gone because he was formerly of mine. So the Rangers acquired him, as well as Danny Colomb from the Twins for Garrett Horn. Now, I don't know anything about Garrett Horn, but I do know that Phil Maton has been good this year. Not great in his career, but that tends to happen sometimes with relievers. They might be a failed starter. Danny Colomb is a guy that shuts out lefties, though. So that's actually a really good move, at least for the Rangers. Short term, I like that move. And I don't think they gave up much. Garrett Horn's probably just a fucking body. The Phillies acquired Matt Manning from the Tigers for Josuith Quinones. I bet you none of those players matter. Probably minor league guys. The Cubs acquired Taylor Rogers and cash from the Pirates for Ivan Brethor. Probably not a big deal there. The Yankees were one of the ones to trade with the Colorado Rockies. They acquired Jake Bird for second baseman Rock Reggio and Ben Shields. So Jake Bird is an interesting cat. I mean, I don't think he's a high leverage guy, but he's pitching in Coors Field, so I definitely, whatever his numbers are right now, and I don't think they were super terrible, I do think they will get better. The Tigers picked up Paul Sewald from the Guardians, the Indians, for a player to be named later or cash. We've got the Tigers also acquiring Kyle Finnegan from the Nationals for Josh Randall and R.J. Sales. Okay, the Tigers trying to fortify the bullpen. I know Paul Sewald was pretty good before. I don't know how he's doing right now. The Dodgers made another trade. Interesting. I remember when James Oatman was kind of useful. So the Twins picked up James Oatman, and they had to send right-handed pitcher, I'm guessing a bullpen guy, Brock Stewart, to the LA Dodgers. The San Diego Padres acquired a catcher named Freddie Furman from the Royals for Ryan Burgett and Stephen Kolek, both right-handed pitchers. The Brewers made a small splash here. Shelby Miller and Jordan Montgomery from the D-backs for a player to be named later or cash. I feel like the Brewers probably bought too low given their record, and that type of trade there kind of tells me that they did, because the only other trade I know that they made prior to today was for Danny Jansen. So the Cubs picked up Willie Castro from the Twins for Sam Armstrong and Ryan Gallagher. Okay, I like Willie Castro. You can slot him in a few different positions, so I definitely see the versatility there. I know that was a guy that the Jays were potentially interested in as well. The Astros acquired Jesus Sanchez from the Marlins for Ryan Gusto. Can't really tell you much about either of them. This is kind of an interesting trade. Adrian Hauser was picked up by the Tampa Bay Devil Rays in exchange for Curtis Mead, Duncan Davitt, and Benjamin Peoples, the People's champion right there. The Padres were busy today. I know they've got a few more trades we got to go over. They really added to their bullpen from what I understand. The Padres picked up left-handed pitcher Nestor Cortez from the Brewers for Brandon Lockridge. I believe he was a former Yankee. I'm not sure how good he is, that sort of thing. The San Francisco Giants finally let go of Mike Yastrzemski in exchange for Junior Marte. So, interesting. I was just watching Yastrzemski play the other night. Interesting. And this is the last notable trade, then I'll take a look at the comments. The Tigers picked up old 42-year-old Charlie Morton from the Baltimore Orioles for Micah Ashman. So there's your notable trades. Then we're going to go to the top 20, starting from 20. So let me just take a quick look at the comments here. Steven, can we announce to everyone that if you add someone on Sunday after the first game starts, the move will count towards the week after? That's not a bad idea, because I honestly didn't know, and I was just like fucking around, and that's how I found out, to be honest with you, that on Sunday I was able to add fucking guys and that sort of thing. It was interesting. Nestor and Lockridge, former Yankees. Thanks for clarifying that stage. No, that's why I was able to get my moves in early there. I mean, I did all 4 of my moves on Sunday. I didn't know you could do that, though. So it is a good point. All right, so the rest of the trades should be bigger. If you guys, as I'm going along the way, there's a trade that was made that these guys missed, please let me know. So this is an interesting one. This is a New York Yankees trade. They traded for Jose Calabrero from the Tampa Bay Devil Rays for Evan Pereira and a player to be named later or cash considerations. So the one thing we know about Jose Calabrero is he can run. He cannot hit. I believe he's like a 625 to a 650 OPS. I believe he plays multiple positions as well. I think 2B, 3B, shortstop, etc. Maybe even outfield. I don't know. He's got 34 stolen bases this year, and he led the AL last year with 44 stolen bags. So I'm not going to say that's a great trade. I mean, I don't think they gave up anything for him, but it's definitely useful come playoff time to have a guy with speed. I will say that. Now this one feels like one we reported yesterday, and it was. So I guess they consider this a big trade. Cabrian Hayes from the Pirates for Sammy Stafura and Taylor Rogers. Okay. That's the Reds and the Pirates. We already went over that last night. We're not going over it again. The New York Mets picked up Cedric Mullins in exchange for Anthony Nunez, Raymond Gomez, and Chandler Marsh. As we all know, the Mets were looking for a center fielder. I don't think this is the one that they wanted. They probably wanted Ramon Laureano, but they didn't get him. They didn't get Harrison Bader either. So, Cedric Mullins, they probably didn't have to pay much for him. He's got a bit of power. He's got a bit of stolen bag in him. Not a great OPS guy. He played a bit of defense, though, as we saw against Nathan Lucas there. The Phillies acquired Harrison Bader from the Twins in exchange for Hendry Mendez and Jeremy Valoria. So they're looking for a guy that can, I guess, get the bat on the ball. 778 OPS this year, so we'll see what happens there. This is interesting. Pretty big trade for a decent pitcher. Not a great pitcher in my opinion, but a pretty solid one actually. The Reds acquired Zach Little, and the Rays picked up Hunter Fiducia, Brian Van Bell, and the Dodgers acquired Adam Sarandowski, Paul Gervais, and Ben Rohrvert. So a 3-team trade. That was yesterday. I like how MLB put it out more. We already went over this, though, so we're not going over it again. Another trade that we went over yesterday was the Mets acquiring Tyler Rogers from the Giants for Jose Butto, Blade Tidwell, and outfielder Drew Gilbert. Already went over it yesterday, not going over it again. The Yankees acquired an interesting pitcher here. Camilo Doval from the Giants for 4 prospects. They're not listing the prospects. Who cares? We're not going over the prospects. So far this year, he's got 15 saves, a 3.09 ERA, 50 strikeouts in 47 innings, as well as 47 appearances. The thing here that's interesting is the team control. So the team control is until 2028. So he's not going to be the closer in New York this year, I don't think. I think Devin Williams is still the guy. Or David Bednar. But I like that trade. I like that you're getting control of him. Next one we got here is the Rays acquiring Griffin Jax for Taj Bradley, straight up from the Twins. I think it's a good trade on both sides. Taj Bradley as a starter could potentially have way more value than Griffin Jax, who's going to remain as a bullpen arm, but Griffin Jax is the safer bet, so I can't blame it, and maybe Taj Bradley just needs a change of scenery. I'm going to take a quick look at the comments here, see what you guys are saying. Nameless says that Zach Little and Rotvet also were former Yankees. Thank you for your insightfulness. Now shut the fuck up. This trade was made on July 25th, so I might... It doesn't matter. We'll just go over it. We already know Josh Naylor went to the Mariners in exchange for Brandon Garcia and Ashton Izzy. Okay. We already know that the Yankees picked up Ryan McMahon from the Rockies for Griffin Herring, Josh Gross. Okay, we already know that, so we're not going over it again. The Padres made an interesting trade, so they traded 6 prospects to Baltimore in exchange for Ryan O'Hearn and Ramon Laureano. I don't know how good those prospects are. In fact, I'd say they're not going to be great prospects, but it doesn't hurt to put 6 prospects away. The next one is a Blue Jays trade, so we're not going over that till the end. The Mets acquired Ryan Housley from the Cardinals for Jesus Baez, Nate Dome, and Frank Elisat, so we're not going over that. We went over it yesterday. And they're really excluding a lot of trades, and I'll explain to you guys here in a second. The Rangers made another pickup. They picked up an ace, Merrill Kelly from the D-backs for Lowell Drake, David Hageman, and Mitch Bratt. These were all their top prospects in the Rangers. I actually view this as a losing trade, even though you're getting an ace. I think they gave up way too much, especially where they are in the race. I mean, yeah, you get to the playoffs, sure. It just seems like an awful lot, if you ask me. We do have the Yankees trade. So this is obviously just them putting together the top trades. I was hoping it was an entire list, but it's not, so that's okay. The Yankees acquired David Bednar from the Pirates for 2 catchers, Rafael Flores and Edgelene Perez, as well as Brian Sanchez, who's an outfielder. I like it. I mean, between Jake Bird, David Bednar, and Camilo Doval, they're gonna have a pretty good bullpen. I don't know if Jake Bird's necessarily going to be strong, but David Bednar, I can tell you, this year is very good. Last year wasn't very good, but most of his career has been very good. So probably a pretty good rental there. We already went over this last night. Yohan Duran from the Twins going to the Philadelphia Phillies in exchange for Eduardo Tate and Mick Abel, so we're not going over it again. Mariners, we already know, acquired Eugenio Suarez from the Diamondbacks for Tyler Locklear, Hunter Cranton, and Juan Burgess. So we already went over that. Not going to go over it again. I do like the fact that, the Mariners added Josh Naylor and Eugenio Suarez. They're definitely improving their bats, which they should be. The Astros reunite with Carlos Correa. So they had to basically send, a guy named Matt Molosky. I'm going to guess that's a top prospect. I would say that's a top prospect if you're getting a 1-for-1 deal done. Plus, they're paying a bit of cash. That means they're going to basically improve what they're getting because they are paying cash there. The Padres acquired right-handed pitcher of mine, and by traded I mean traded for Mason Miller and J.P. Sears from the Athletics for shortstop Leo DeVries, right-handed pitcher Braden Nat, right-handed pitcher Henry Baez, as well as right-handed pitcher Aduriel Nunez. So that is the trades in the league. Did not go over the Jays. Find it interesting that one of them wasn't even mentioned as a notable. So here's what I'm going to say. One of the trades that they consider notable on MLB.com is the trade that the Jays made for the catcher in the minor leagues. But they don't happen to have... They don't happen to have the trade for that reliever in Minnesota. So, oh my God. Like, what in the fuck? Do I think the Mariners are the clear number one? No, probably. I mean, consensus is probably going to say that the clear number one winner was the Padres. How many people do they add? The winner of the deadline typically means they have the most warts as well. Based on what I understand, the Mariners added 2 offensive players. That's those 2 offensive players can easily be shut down in the playoffs by pitching, especially left-handed pitching. They're both left-handed bat, or no, I always think Suarez is a left-handed bat, but they can be shut down. Well, yeah, this article here literally was a bit. If I missed any notable trades, I apologize, but it's extremely hard. If I go through MLB trade rumors, we're going to be here all fucking night. So let's get to the Jays. Dan, I need some carbonated water, please. I'm going to get to the Jays trade. So let's just type in Blue Jays trades, and we're going to dissect them one by one. So we already know there was a lot. I think I went over, man. I think I went over 30 or 35 of them, and there's probably like fucking 60 of them. There must be at least 60 fucking trades, man. So we already went over Sir Anthony Dominguez. I think it was a good pickup. I think we gave up a prospect that, hey, he could be good. He typically only throws 94, 92 to 94, can hit higher. Probably more of a command pitcher. Maybe he becomes a good starter. He was our 10th best prospect per MLB Pipeline, and then per other stats was ranked as low as 17th. So I don't think for a rental we gave up a whole lot for Sir Anthony Dominguez. I already went over his velocity and his pitch types. We'll talk about him a little bit shortly, but here's kind of the rest of things. I sort of figured that Will Wagner was on the way out with the Blue Jays, especially with the emergence of Joey Loperfido actually showing that he has poise, and Willie Wagner, we just didn't need that left-handed bat. We really did not. So that trade's very interesting. So basically what happened is we traded for a guy named, and I'm going to butcher his name potentially, Brandon Valenzuela, a catching prospect. I'll get the numbers and shit up. It's only going to be minor league numbers. Based on what I've heard is a bit of potential, but they picked up that Furman's guy from, I don't know, God knows where. So they picked up a catcher. This guy does not, he's not going to fill in for the Padres, basically. So he's blocked out. So we gave up Will Wagner in exchange for him straight. Now, he's not going to contribute this year, in my opinion, because he's going to be buried behind, obviously, Kirk when Kirk comes back. Tyler Heineman, for this year, he's going to be buried behind him. But then next year, this is where it gets interesting. I think Heineman's only on a 1-year deal. And I think we need to find a good little backup catcher. If he's got plus defense and he can hit a bit, I like that he's a switch hitter as well. The other guy will be Ali Sanchez. I still think Ali Sanchez will maybe be higher on the depth chart this year. But we'll take a bigger look at that. Let's just announce the trades first, then we can kind of talk shop a bit. This is an interesting trade for me, which we're going to break down here shortly. We got Louis Varland and Ty France from the Minnesota Twins in exchange for Alan Roden and left-handed pitching prospect Kendrys Rogers. I don't think Alan Roden is a piece that we're going to miss too much. Kendrys Rogers, I think, has some potential for sure, but he's certainly not like our top prospect. We didn't let go of a top prospect except for one. That one being in the next trade for Shane Bieber. Shane Bieber, seeing that made me extremely happy. I'd rather take a Shane Bieber than 2 or 3 relievers. This guy can pitch. I stashed him on my deal in the fantasy league for a reason. Now, we did have to give up a piece. It was just a 1-for-1 swap. And there is risk there. I understand that there is risk with this trade. He's coming off Tommy John. His arm is up to about 58 innings or 58 pitches in his last outing. He needs 1 or 2 more rehab starts, and then he'll be up. And this is a perfect addition for us. Run with a 6-man rotation down for the rest of the year, which I think favors every pitcher, obviously. But, of course, Bieber coming off an injury, for 1. Max Scherzer, who's got nerve damage in his hand, for 2. And then I think to a lesser extent, Eric Lauer. Eric Lauer, we don't know how he's going to hold up, for workload. So I think the extra day off helps Eric Lauer as well. I mean, it helps Berrios and Gossman and Bassett as well. But I think this is a hell of a fucking pickup. Now, I'll get all the stats and shit together here in a second. I'm just going to take a quick look at the comments here. So, Sage says it was a good deadline. Dan says it was a busy day. Also goes on to say, I think a sneaky sleeper of the Jays deadline is that catcher. He's 3 years younger than Wagner. He has elite hard contact. 43% of his exit velocity is over 95 miles per hour. His fielding is rated at 60, so 60 is definitely above average. Arm grade is 50, so that's okay. It's not much above average, though. Highly praised for framing, pitch calling, and baseball IQ. Needs to work on blocking balls. Okay, so I mean, if you're only giving Will Wagner up for that, sign me up. Sage says he pitched like a son of a bitch. Now I need to ask you, Sage, why are you saying he pitches like a son of a bitch? Why are you calling Shane Bieber's mother a bitch? Did she break your heart? Did something happen between you and Miss Bieber? Oh, never mind. He says Shane Bieber is a good man, but he goes on to say that his mother is a bitch. Is that what I'm hearing, Sage? That seems to be what I heard. Is that what I heard? It's okay, you can tell me. I'm not going to tell anyone. It's just you and I here, Sage. I'm not twisting your words. I read exactly what's on the teleprompter. You know that. Go fuck yourself, San Diego. You guys keep on chiming in. I'm just quickly getting up all the stuff that we need to cover the Blue Jays. If I was to give the Jays a grade for the deadline, it's not going to be an A+, because to me an A+ would have been, okay, here would be my A+ scenario. You added Stephen Kwan, you added a Bieber, you added the 2 other relievers we had, and you added David Bednar. To me, that's your A+ grade. I don't think you could have did any better than that. That's your A+ grade. Now, what you did do is you added a potential long-term backup catcher. So, I mean, it's fine. It doesn't move the needle much in terms of this year, but it's fine, you know. Like, you're not going to lose your shit over it, I hope. And if you do, you probably should see a fucking psychiatrist and get fucking medicated. So, for those of you out there losing their shit because Will Wagner got traded, you should be medicated with all due respect. I said with all due respect so I can tell you whatever the fuck I want, okay? I wouldn't say a C or a C+. Actually, I think what the Jays did was probably more impactful, or at least as impactful as what the Yankees did. I don't think Jake Bird or Ryan McMahon moved the needle much. David Bednar does move the needle. Camilo Doval has very similar advanced stats to the guy we picked up, and we got 2 years of service time on top of that. I can actually read through what I was sent in a text here about that trade. There was a comparison. So basically, here's what it says. So it says Lewis Varland this year, 24% K rate, 6.6% walk rate, a 54.5 ground ball rate, a 2.02 ERA, a 2.89 FIP, under team control until 2031. Camilo Doval this year, a 26.2% K rate, a 12.6% walk rate, a 52.6% ground ball rate, a 3.09% ERA, a 3.18 FIP, under team control through 2028. Plus, pitching in, New York is harder than pitching in Oracle Stadium. So that's just something that was sent before I knew that you were going to call our sorry asses out. But I came prepared. My uncle sent me that. So we'll give Graham's great team a shout out for that. I don't know about a B plus. I'd say a B. I think a B is a good grade. I mean, you don't want to necessarily send everything away at a deadline either, right? So I don't think. Graham sent it to me voluntarily, Sage. I didn't ask for that. And Dan is saying the Yanks got quantity over quality. Well, David Bednar is quality, Dan, please. So, David Bednar is quality. Ryan McMahon's not that good. Jose Calabrero is not that good, in my opinion. There's no need for us to have a war tonight, guys, unless we're playing Age of Empires or some shit. There's no need for us to have a war, okay? We're all friends here at the Thundercloud, and I like when it gets a little heated. I understand that he's the stolen base leader in the AL, but I see him all the time in free agency in our fucking league for the past 2 years, despite leading the league in stolen bases. No one wants him. If they don't want him in fantasy, how good is he in real life? If you want, I can pull up Jose Calabrero's stats. I'm okay with that. I'm just saying he's not a good hitter. I never said he wasn't a track star. Caballero, for his career, is a 225 average. This year he's a 226 average. Let me guess, he hits left? No, he's a righty. Good. He's 28 years old. I mean, yeah, he steals bases. He was also caught 16 times. So last year, Caballero had 44 stolen bases and led the league in caught stealings as well with 16. This year, he's 34 for 8. He has an on-base percentage of .311 in his career, .328 this year. And when I said 625 to 650 OPS, I was spot on. 642 career, 640 this year. He does play multiple positions, but he obviously doesn't play these positions that well. Given that his WAR on Baseball Reference, which is extremely generous, too generous versus Fangraphs, he only has a fucking 1.5 WAR this year and a 1.6 WAR last year. So I don't think he's outstanding. He gives you versatility. I'm not saying he's a bad guy to pick up. I'm just saying he's not a great player. We can all come to the agreement he's not a great player, I hope, right? He's depth. His defense, how good is his defense, though, if his WAR is so low, is my question. I mean, you guys can recite the fielding Bible, but his defense isn't exactly going to jump off the charts. He's got a 1.6 defense and a 1 WAR on Fangraphs. So I'm not saying it's a bad pickup. I think it's a good depth pickup. Like, I think especially in a situation where you need a pinch runner or just depth, I think it's a good pickup. But I'm just saying, this guy's not exactly going to light the ball up. He's got fucking, in his career, he's got fucking 15 career home runs. I think I've done that as respectfully as I can as a Jays fan. I think I did a pretty good job there. I'd like, if I had one of Nathan's little things, I'd give myself a round of applause. Ryan McMahon did have an error his first game with the Yankees. Ryan McMahon does play good D, though. He's speedy and versatile, and that's it. I think you're assuming for Jose Caballero. That's correct, I would say. Ryan McMahon, not going to hit for a great average. He'll have a little bit of pop, plus he'll play pretty good D at third. I think mostly as a platoon player. I think that's a pretty good... I thought that was a pretty good pickup. It was much needed because the other guy they had, Oswaldo Perez, was terrible. He might have been as bad as Jazz Chisholm at third base there. He had pop and cores too. He's always been in a hitter-friendly stadium. Let's not kid ourselves with Ryan McMahon. I believe a distant cousin to Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Before we get back to the Blue Jays, is there anything else that you guys would like to go over for the Yankees? Anything else? I'm going to ask. Nameless, what grade would you give the Yankees today and why? I would like to hear that. I'm not gonna trash talk you. I'm not going to tell you that you're a fucking idiot and that you need to shut your fucking mouth. I just want to know. A B grade. I could be... You know what? I think, if I'm being honest with you, I think I'd rather be a team with a B grade than a team with an A plus grade. Because do you know how you get an A plus grade? You'd be like the Rangers. You'd be like the Padres. You trade all your top prospects away. Because that's how you're going to get the top players. You're going to have to trade away a ton. And I don't think that's how you want to build your team. I think what you want to do is you want to buy low. You want to fucking buy low on your fucking players. Now, if the right pitcher comes along, or player, but typically pitching at the deadline, then of course, you're going to have to overpay. That's just part of the game. But you don't want to be an A plus, typically speaking, because they don't take into consideration the compensation going back, because we don't know the compensation going back. But the more top prospects you throw away, the more likely you're going to be like, shit, I fucked up down the line, sort of thing. See, I think the Yankees did well. I also agree. A B seems pretty good. I don't think I could go as far as an A minus, but let's get into it. Let's save the best for last. So, all right. So this Brandon Valenzuela, we got rid of Will Wagner, who we know is a hitter. He showed a bit last year in a short sample that he could hit for, above a 700 OPS. This year, he's like a 650 OPS. He has no home runs this year. He's not great at D. He can play multiple positions, none of them well. He's a left-handed bat, so maybe will serve the Padres well. But I think that this prospect is interesting. I don't know if he can hit or whatever. I mean, he's only got a 714 OPS in his career, but he's a catcher. And in the minors, typically their OPSs are lower than what they are at the major leagues. Plus, he's a catcher. So I think it's good that we add a catcher to our fucking roster, because he's not coming up to the Blue Jays. Let's not kid ourselves right now. Now, he's not that far away. He's almost 25 years old, and he's in Double-A, so he could be quick to get up here. But you're just looking for a guy that's a backup. You've got Kirk locked up for 5 or 6 more years. Try to find a backup. It's fine by me. So I think it's a good trade. Is it going to move the needle this year? Absolutely not. So that's the first trade. So I'm starting with the weakest trade first in terms of impact. And yeah, that's true. Will Wagner is 27 already. The other guy is 25, as I just said, in like 2 months or something like that. So, yeah, Will Wagner's our top prospect. So anyone that's like kicking themselves over Will Wagner, would have you preferred to trade Joey Loperfido? Joey Loperfido has adjusted his stance in the minors. He's more upright now. He looks very good at the plate this year. He's handling pitches he couldn't. He actually had upside in Houston's system. I'm very happy with trading Will Wagner. Now, if I was trading Loperfido, I don't have a problem with that. But in that trade, no. If I'm getting Stephen Kwan and Cade Smith, who I really wanted, by the way, yeah, that would have been awesome. That to me, if we could have somehow pulled off fucking Shane Bieber, Cade Smith, and fucking Stephen Kwan in a trade, plus our other two trades, then yeah, I'm giving him I'm A++ grade. But there goes your farm for the next 10 fucking, well, not 10 years, but you know what I mean. The next 5 years anyway. All right, let's go on to the next move. If you haven't hit the like button, hit the fucking like button, or I will hit you. Not that I'm trying to, put you guys under duress. So the other guy here, we already know we traded for Sir Anthony Dominguez when he was pitching for Baltimore. This guy, we know that he throws fucking hard. He's averaging 97.8 with his fastball this year. His sinker somehow goes .2 faster than his four-seamer. He's got command issues, but he's got swing and miss. You know what I mean? So he strikes out almost 12 per 9. He walks a bit, almost 5 per 9. He is working on a splitter. I think having Gossman around will help. I think having, Uriel Rodriguez. Not Uriel Rodriguez. I don't fucking know at this hour. There's pitchers on our team that throw the splitter, okay? He's going to learn from them. And he's going to learn good. But I think that was a good addition. We didn't pay much. We already went over him, though, but I think that's definitely a way better upgrade than what Chad Green was giving you. The movement and the spin rate on Chad Green this year just looked as straight as a dart. And let's face it, Chad Green wasn't necessarily that great last year. So, I like the velocity on this guy. I just hope he can not fuck up too bad with the walks, basically, is all I'm hoping. But he's been in crunch time the last 2 years. He's won some, he's been in some playoff games. So we'll see what happens with Sir Anthony Dominguez. We've got the next guy we got to go over is one of Zhao's guys. Another one of Zhao's relievers to get traded was Luis Varland. So I need to bring this little fucker up in Fangraphs here. So just give me a second. I'm trying to find, if one of you guys can look this up for me, it would actually be a huge help. I'm trying to find out, can you find out how many innings Ty France has played per position this year? If someone could do that for me. My Fangraphs isn't loading that up, so it's actually getting very difficult for me to find Ty France's stuff and like what positions he's been playing. So if someone could look that up, that would be great. So this was another trade we made. It did bolster our bullpen, but before I get that, let me just check the messages. We didn't give up our farm this deadline, which is good, and we still improved our farm, or our major league team. Well, I mean, we gave up a whatchamacallit there. Our 5th best prospect, Cal Steven, for Shane Bieber. We gave him up. And I think the next best we gave was 10th. I forget his name, for Sir Anthony Dominguez. So that's pretty much all he's played. That's why I was asking, because they have him listed as a first baseman, a second baseman, and a third baseman. But I think they're more leaning towards what he's done in his career. So I think that he's just basically going to be more of a, maybe an insurance policy if, Anthony Santander doesn't come up. So it's just, yeah. Because you got Andres Gimenez coming back. So 1 inning at second base. That's kind of hilarious. So, interesting. I understand it a bit more because we might not see Santander, the rest of the way. And maybe, just maybe, Ty France playing in Canada will give him a boost, especially on on a team that's on a run right now. He's a below average OPS right now. We'll get into that. Let me start with obviously the highlight of the trade. So for this trade, we gave up Alan Roden and Kendrys Rauges. So we didn't necessarily give up a ton, at least not in my opinion. Now, the one thing I can tell you about Lewis Varland is he is a failed starter, which many relievers are. So when I first looked at this, I was like, okay, I really don't like what he did in 2024. I mean, if we're being objective here, he had a 7.61 ERA, 49 and 2/3 innings, 68 hits, 49 strikeouts, a 5.54 FIP, so I guess that makes him look a little better, and a 1.7 WHIP. So I don't know what happened last year. He started 7 games, so that to me is a positive that he started 7 games, because he started 7 out of 16 last year, 10 out of 17 the year before, and then 5 out of 5 his first year. His first year was a 3.81 ERA. Second year was a 4.63. Last year, as I said, was an abysmal 7.61 ERA. This year, he's at a pristine 2.02 ERA. And with relievers, you gotta just be like, what have you done for me lately? Because we could literally take a shot at David Bednar if we wanted and say, what did David Bednar do last year? He shit the bed. Because I had him in fantasy league and he was fucking terrible. But I think he's a great reliever. He was a reliever I certainly wanted. But a 2.02 ERA, he's not going to strike out a ton. But, I mean, he's got 47 strikeouts in 49 innings, which isn't bad. His FIP suggests that it's sustainable at 2.89, which I said earlier. Now, the interesting thing about this guy, his fastball velocity is way up. So, when he started, makes sense, as a starter, and as you gradually wean from being a starter, your ERA should go up. So in 2022, when he was a full-time starter that year, 93.8 average fastball velocity, then 95.3, then 96.2. Now he's at 98.1 for his average fastball velocity. So that is a huge fastball. Doesn't walk guys, which I like. Just has to keep that ball down, as Joe Morgan would say. So, I mean, the guy's under control till 2031. Something like that. Like, he's under control for fucking 5 or 6, a damn long time. I don't know what the fuck it is. It's a while, though. So, you didn't give up much for him, even if he fucking sucks. He's only good this 1 year, and then he sucks the rest of his career. You didn't give up anyone that you're going to be too disappointed in losing. And then with Ty France, you gave up basically, he was involved in the same package. So Ty France is not having a terrible year. Like a 678 OPS, that's better than what Will Wagner's doing. Now, I was hoping to see him mash against lefties. And I looked at the splits and no, both for his career and for, 1 year splits. And this guy does not mash lefties. He's pretty balanced against both. So this year he's got a 678 OPS. Last year, 670. When he was with Seattle last, he was a 703. Before that, though, I mean, this guy was good. 774, 813, 836. I think he was a fucking all-star one of those years. I think over Vlad for some reason. Very interesting. So I don't know. I'm just kind of hoping. I mean, he's only 30 years old. Maybe the change of scenery from him being born. Why did I think he was born in Canada? One of his parents is Canadian, I guarantee you that. I thought he was Canadian. He played on Team Canada, didn't he? Ty France? I guess not. Anyways, you're getting a guy who, in his career, is above average for OPS plus, and this year, below average. So, better than Ty France. I don't really have a problem with it. Just a bit of insurance for our bench, for if Anthony Santander doesn't come back, etc., etc. I'm going to check the comments, though, here. He did not have a 774 average. That was an OPS. He had better years than the 774 OPS, though. He's been over 800, yep. Like you said, 836 OPS. I mean, you know, it's fine. It's even if he's around a 700. I mean, it's a fine pickup. It's whatever. He wasn't the main guy. It was probably more so we take on his salary in order to get the Varland guy too, right? Nameless says, also turns out I was trolling last night. Mayans have the 8th worst win rate on the Black Forest. Oh wow, you son of a bitch! Pick a better race next time. And you're saying, and you can play on a national team if you have one grandparent from that country. Oh, just one grandparent, not two, but one. That's actually very interesting because I think he played for Team Canada, man. I swear to God. If you guys want to look it up, look it up. I'm very certain Ty France played for Team Canada. I thought he was a Canadian, for fuck's sakes. And then let's go to the biggest deal that the Jays made. Well, shut the fuck up, you guys. Like, the year before, 2019, 2020. Do some digging. Now, Shane Bieber is obviously the guy that I was super pumped to see. I thought it was a good value. You gave up a prospect. You didn't have to give up your top prospect. You gave up Cal Stevens, your 5th best prospect. He's coming off an injury, but Tommy John, who gives a fuck about Tommy John anymore? It's really not the end of the world, that's for sure. So I think he'll bounce back. He'll be fine. The good news, if he's not fine, we'll get him for $16 million next year because he'll pick up his player option. So he doesn't have a player option, but if he's good down the stretch, well, then he's going to walk. Or well, he's not going to pick up the player option anyway. But I think it's always a good way for the Jays to audition these players is to have them in the atmosphere. Because, you know, sometimes signing players can be hard unless they've actually seen the atmosphere. And the atmosphere by most players, like look at Jose Barrios. They would like the atmosphere, honestly. So let's take a quick look at his career numbers. This guy has a career, and this is a starter, 3.22 ERA in his career. He's got 958 strikeouts in 843 innings. And he's got a 1.115 whip. So you're looking at a guy, former Cy Young winner, and a two-time, he won a Gold Glove for fuck's sakes. 2 or 3-time All-Star. I don't think they had an All-Star in 2020 though due to COVID, so he would have been a 3-time. He's been up for Cy Young voting in the top 7 3 years out of 7. And last year, I mean, he only pitched 12 innings, right? So really 3 out of 6 if you're really looking at it. He was good before he got injured. He had a 3.8 ERA. Not quite living up to, you know, what he did before when he had a 1.63 ERA, but the guy can strike guys out. The guy can pitch. Now, is he going to wow you with his velocity? He never has. He's never been a super big velocity guy. His velocity in his career ranges basically from 91.5 to 94.3. So he's not going to wow you, but I mean he's going to be a guy that can pitch. I think he's one of those guys that uses his slider a shit ton. So you might get a bit annoyed with how often he uses his slider because according to Fangraphs, now this is a very limited sample. He used his fastball 42% of the time in 2024, his slider 25%, his changeup 13%, his knuckle curve 11%, and his what the fuck would FC be? The fuck would FC be? Forkball? It's not a forkball. It's not a four-seamer either. Not really sure what that one means, but he's got a fucking, a few pitches. Like I said, very slider heavy. So, Yeah, I'd give the Jays a B. This Bieber guy though, if he goes off and pitches how he potentially could, it could potentially change to like an A minus or something like that for sure. A lot kind of depends on him. Never played in the WBC for Ty France, as per Gemini AI. A 3.09 FIP career for Shane Bieber. He's been pitching over 94 in his rehab. Well, he'll pitch over, but he's not a pitcher that he's not going to be like throwing 100. He's a different kind of a pitcher. He's got spin rate. Yeah, Tommy John's not a surgery that really concerns me, to be honest. Now, if he had like a torn labrum and he was coming off of that surgery, that would concern me. But yeah, I think it was a good trade deadline. I don't know if it was a great one, but Shane Bieber moves the needle for me. I think we did probably more than what we were expecting if we were to have this conversation 2 weeks ago. But I really expected Shane Bieber. The one thing I'll say that's very interesting is Dan added Sir Anthony Dominguez the night before we traded for him. And I added, what was his face? Shane Bieber, what, 5 days ago now? 5 days ago, I added Shane Bieber to stash him. Oh, Bieber will be our ace. It didn't make sense for us to trade for a pitcher for depth. We needed to add a pitcher for ace potential or number one potential. I already went over that. We've got enough 2, 3, 4, 5 starters. Made no sense. So it was exactly the trade that we needed. We didn't give up a whole lot. Look at what the Rangers gave up for Merrill Kelly. They gave up a shit ton. We absolutely are going to go with a 6-man rotation. If we don't, it might be, for a shortened amount of time, maybe 1 or 2 weeks, but we will be in a 6-man rotation, I guarantee you. If we don't, who are we going to kick to the bullpen? I don't think we're going to kick any of them to the bullpen. We still have to wait. Shane Bieber isn't pitching this week. He's probably pitching 2 weeks from now. So he'll be back in mid-August. So until then, we're going with a 5-man rotation. And then once that happens, I think we'll go to a 6-man rotation. But that's just the way I see it. I don't think it makes sense to put Max Scherzer or Eric Lauer in the bullpen. Not with how they're, would Max Scherzer even go to the bullpen? Probably. But no, I just don't see it. All right. I'm so happy that the MLB trade deadline has come and gone. We'll do the stream tomorrow. We're not doing any games tonight because this took a long fucking time. This was as organized as I could get, and there was too much to fucking cover. Zal, I said the Yankees, I gave them a B grade, so I do expect a like from you. That's all I'm going to say right now. And we're gonna close up shop unless there's any comments here. Yeah, Scherzer's not going to the bullpen, and neither is Eric Lauer. Well, thank you. I appreciate the like, even though I don't appreciate your fucking attitude. So that's all I'm going to say there. All right, guys, that's it. We're done. The trade deadline is done. We'll see how everything plays out on the field. But, yeah, pretty pumped up. I like what we did. We'll see how it all plays out. I'm not on the clock right now. Thank you, Sage. I appreciate the sentiment. I do. Listen, now go satisfy your insatiable pussycat. Okay, yeah. You heard that little fucker in the background. Yeah, we gotta feed these little fuckers, otherwise they get very irritable. Very irritable. All right, guys, the thundercloud is out. We'll be back at it tomorrow. We will raise hell. Everyone have a good night, and fuck the Yankees.